Good afternoon, Hockenheim, and welcome to the afternoon session of the FSG Endurance. I hope everybody had a refreshing lunch. We sure had to rush a little bit from the official side. Aristotle kept us waiting much longer than we anticipated in the morning session. This is the afternoon run. We expect 20 cars or thereabouts. We're listening with half an ear to the official channel from the red shirts here, still conducting the last couple of radio checks, just checking in the communication between each sector. We already have the first car ready to drive. Padova has actually been here since the end of the morning session already. They've been very patiently waiting. Right behind them in the queue is Amberg-Weiden, Ostfalia, Eindhoven, Milano, and car number 160. Padova now coming forward towards the green flag. It looks like we are about to get this afternoon session going. Right then, radio check is complete. All the marshals can hear each other. Padova is on track.
So Padova sitting off pretty aggressively, and we see they're one of the few teams we've seen so far that has a dynamic DRS rear wing, opening and closing depending on where they are on the track. And car number 23, Running Snail from Amberg-Weiden, joining them for their first endurance stint.
Yeah, of course, big cheers from the team watching on from the sides of the track here. It is very nice to see that we have quite a big crowd gathering in the grandstands as well. Thank you for being here. Also, hello to the live stream viewers online as Ostfalia gets the green flag. Third car out on track this afternoon.
I think the delay we had with the morning session taking a little bit longer with the out-of-order runners. The officials are now pretty eager to get as many cars out on track as possible simultaneously as they can. Get us a little bit back on schedule.
Yeah, indeed. Eindhoven is also already in the queuing area. Milano, Wroclaw, and the GFR right behind. This morning we had up to 7 cars out on track simultaneously. I would expect the race organizers to be able to pull off a very similar feat for this afternoon. So yeah, almost or basically a third of all cars that we expect to run this afternoon being out simultaneously. Of course, the last 5, or the final 5 some might call them, is going to be at the very end. We will wait until the last car before the final 5 has cleared the track, and then the 5 fastest cars from the autocross event yesterday will battle it out all at the same time.
Car number 240 from Eindhoven running out onto the track. 4 cars on the track now, and I believe Milan should be up next.
Indeed, Milan is still receiving the last few checks from the officials, now actually able to pre-charge. They will also join us here momentarily.
So very good, aggressive, effective driving we're seeing from the 4 cars on track at the moment. All going about the same pace, which is of course the idea. behind the running order of the cars so that they interfere with each other as little as possible.
Yeah, just gathering some information on one of the teams out here, Ostfalia. Doesn't look like they were able to finish the endurance here at FSG last year. They have Tom Wallach and Pat driving. We don't know in which order. Of course, there's the driver change halfway through, so that two different drivers will be in each car that you see out here on track. I actually do want to give a shout out to you, Matti, our FSG commentator. We love you and we love Marple. New car out on track. Milano joins us, like we mentioned.
Just looking at the lap times the cars are setting, they are all already lapping in the low 80s, and Running Snail actually has the first sub 80 second time, 79.89.
Right then, I was looking at some of the other information teams have provided to us. Eindhoven let us know that their endurance drivers are Vinny and Tommy. They are trying to shoot for a top 5 in all DV and EV events. Judging by the publishing of the results in the award ceremony yesterday, I'm not sure how close they are, but it's a noble goal nevertheless. They want to give a shout out to Vera, apparently the 2019 car, for all the spare parts, and also a shout out to Simon's mustache.
And some extra info on the team from Milan. They did not fill in their commentary, unfortunately, but we did hear via some of the red shirts. If you remember, if you've been following FSG, you might have seen that the car from Milan lost their front wing at the driverless acceleration event, but they do have a very pretty one sitting on the car now, and that is because one of their team members actually flew all the way from Milan with a front wing, and we believe sitting next to them in a seat on the plane. So
we don't hear that a lot, that you bring a spare wing with you on an airplane.
But you should always be prepared.
Parachute I can imagine, but a wing? Okay. You never know.
Yeah, usually we comment on the driving styles of the cars out on track, but I do have to say they're all managing just fine. I don't really see any over-aggression. I just see cars lapping really nicely. We haven't had any overtakes yet either. That is, of course, not allowed by the driver's own volition. We have the separate blue overtaking zones that the marshals will motion the cars into with blue flags.
Yes, and this also tells you, Jonas, that these drivers have gotten a very specific instruction not to demolish the car, preferably bring it home. Yes, good pace, but not overdrive it or break the car. It is hot out there. There's a lot of grip. Tires get hot, batteries get hot, motors get hot. So the more you push the car, the higher the chance that something happens. So in endurance, you have to finish.
Indeed, even though we don't have any Scandinavian cars out on track right now. Yeah, strategy is a big part of your endurance performance. We've already had a completely atrocious finishing rate this morning. Basically 60% of the cars that we saw driving not making it for one or the other reason. The top running issues so far were actually suspension failures as well as AMS and IMD errors.
Yes, and to be fair, the group of this morning had a lot of out-of-order runs. So that means that those were the teams that didn't set a time yesterday for usually technical reasons. And now we have car number 160, Teu Roxla, coming at the starting line. And we will have another car on the track pretty soon.
Just to explain for those not in the know, AMS and IMD are both electrical safety systems meant to keep the battery and the insulation respectively in check so that we don't end up with any electrical accidents out here on track.
And we have a blue flag. Eindhoven gets a free pass. So well done. That was quite a good marshalling there. Eindhoven didn't lose any time at all. So they can continue merrily on their way. Yeah, in Milano we're getting a proper Italian battle on track. Milano and Padua coming near each other, and this for sure will be an overtake in the curva section of the track.
Yeah, you got to be careful with the naming there. We have a Polish team out on track.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I mean near the big grandstand. Speaking
of what's left, by the way, driving the endurance for them will be Nazari Otsharenko and Rafał Dziki. They want to get to the top 30 in the world ranking, passing all the dynamic events and have fun out here and make dreams come true. Looks like they're actually the first Polish Formula student team formed in 2009, so they've been at this car building business for quite a while already. And I do want to give a shout out to someone special from the team. Thank you to every single member that worked on the car.
So very smooth and steady running from all 6 cars on track so far. We've seen 1 or 2 overtakes here and there, but overall the drivers keeping it clean, keeping it quick. It is exactly, of course, what the team members will also want to see.
I do see the last lap sign being readied. Wrocław is now passing us. It's not for them. This will probably be Ostfalia as well as Amber and Weiden potentially. They have already reached the first 9 laps in terms of completion and will therefore pull into the driver change here behind us at the race control tower to install their second drivers.
And there is one more blue flag being waved. I think that it is Padua to be overtaken by Ostfalia. Amber Weiden now did receive the last lap sign.
We have a car stopped out on track. Might that be? No, Milano just passed us. That can't be. Who is stationary?
I think it might be 160 from Wrocław, but we'll need the binoculars to double check.
And the driver is getting out of the car already.
Yeah, it's car number 160 from Wrocław.
Yeah, this, judging by the fact that both the driver and the officials are looking at the back of the car, this might be our first suspension failure victim of the afternoon session. We've already seen a lot of these occur both yesterday in the autocross as well as in the morning session. Very common occurrence here on the extremely bumpy FSG track. Both the transitions from the infield here to the track section there and back, as well as broken dreams, wings and horseshoe sections here on track are notorious.
Amberg-Weiden in for the driver change. We had a hairy situation just because Wroclaw was being pushed off the track by the marshals, but they were pushed in front of an oncoming car. So that was a bit of a hairy situation, but in the end they managed it quite well. And we have DHBW Ravensburg, GFR, Oregon State, whatever you want to call them, they're out on track.
Let's pick the shortest one. GFR is pretty good. Ostfalia getting the checkered flag to pull in for the driver change. I think they were held or had some struggles on the last lap with the Wroclaw situation.
Padova is about to see the checkered flag as well, coming in for their driver change. So 3 cars already in for the driver change in the scrutineering area. And I believe Eindhoven and Milan should both be coming in very soon as well.
Yeah, we do have 3 out of the 5 bays now occupied by the 3 teams from Amberg-Weiden, Padova and Ostfalia. So we already have a battle going on in the driver change as well. Let's see who can finish the driver change fastest. Of course, there's no points advantage or time advantage to change the driver as quickly as possible, but it's always nice to see.
Eindhoven is now joining the driver change as well. They had a checkered flag as well as the last lap sign being shown to Milano just before Eindhoven pulled in.
Yes, I think unless somebody comes out of the driver change area in the next 30 seconds, we will have all 5 bays occupied. And then it would just be GFR out of track.
Well, that would make sense, Yegor, as they were released quite shortly after each other. But this is, I think it's a good thing because we need to get through these cars in the end, also towards the final 5 in the afternoon. So after these cars, I think we have at least 5 or 6 more cars waiting in queue.
Yeah, quick reminder, driver change means that the car is allowed to be stationary for a maximum of 3 minutes to change over from one driver to another. The car might spend more time here in the driver change area based on any checks that the officials want to do in the time that the car is stationary. Should the team cause the 3 minutes to be exceeded though, that will be added to the end of the endurance time.
Yeah, I'm looking at the first driver of Amberg-Weiden. Probably he had quite a tough time driving this car, probably very hot and a lot of effort needed. He looks really tired. So much that both of the scrutineers standing at the car were asking the driver if he was okay or not. Yeah, there you have it. It must be very difficult to drive these cars on this tight on these tight corners in the track, and it's still getting about 30 degrees as well. So well done by these drivers.
Milan, in the meanwhile, did also come in for their driver change, so it should be, or it would have been a full driver change section. But now I do see Amberg-Weiden is ready to rejoin us out on the track. Car number 23, second stint.
Yeah, a nice clear track for the second driver of Amberg-Weiden. Let's see how the times compare with the first driver. And also whether we can speculate a little bit on the strategy, energy management, pushing the car or not, but just bringing it home.
Yeah, of course, it's not guaranteed that each car will be able to replicate its autocross pace from yesterday for 18 laps straight. Usually, you would expect the cars to slow down slightly just based on the fact that they might not have enough energy to replicate the autocross pace, but also from a driver's perspective, indeed, the endurance might prove too much to push that hard for close to 40 minutes or so.
Yeah, we saw Padova now come back out onto the track. Ostfalia is also getting ready at the green flag.
Yeah, they're just going to wait until GFR passes us, our position here, and then wait a couple of seconds to release the Ostfalia car, just to give them a little bit of breathing space and clear track. And there they are.
One of the cars out on the track does seem to be going slower than before. I'm not sure if that was GFR or if it is one of the other runners. They're making their way back into the infield now.
Yeah, I think that's the car of Padova. Similar pace, I think, as the first driver, so maybe even a little bit slower. But we'll have to find out and see a comparison of the lap times. But they were a little bit cautious, or maybe not able to go faster. Pretty sure Italian drivers would love to go faster than anybody else on track, but sometimes you don't have an option.
Yeah, they were usually lapping around the high 80s and low 90s so far. This does look like they've slowed down significantly. GFR hot on the heels, going through the horseshoe right behind Padova. I do hope that there is blue flags being prepared so that GFR can overtake them right behind the timing line. Yeah, and indeed, Padova showing about 10 seconds slower per lap now than before. They might be carrying some sort of issue already.
Yes, 10 seconds is just too big of a gap. It's not something that the driver can do something about probably, so it must be some kind of technical issue.
In terms of timing, it looks like the fastest car out on track is Milano. Ostfalia was giving them a run for their money in terms of pace until a couple of laps ago when they fell back in terms of pace just slightly as well. Milano given the opportunity to overtake Padova just the same as Ostfalia.
Yeah, and Ostfalia, second driver, just a little bit slower than the first driver. But perhaps the driver will pick up the pace a little bit, or just make sure that the car gets home. That's also very important, especially because this event is a lot of points for the end result. So I can totally imagine they just want to bring the car home.
Yeah, in terms of strategy, we've already touched upon it. We were debating over lunch, basically, whether the rain forecast that we've been having here, up and down, changing in terms of the arrival time a little bit, will influence this endurance event. So far, the pace of all the cars out on track looks pretty good that even the final five, I think, will come in just early enough to not be affected by the rain. But indeed, rain might become a factor here later on in this afternoon. Yeah, right now it looks like the rain might be rolling in just between 3 and 4 o'clock this afternoon. So that would only give us half an hour. If I look into the sky right now, I am not seeing that happening just yet.
So all 6 cars in the infield at the moment, all looking pretty quick. A couple should be getting to the end of their endurance runs already. I think Running Snail should have about 4 or 3 laps to go.
GFR seems to have slowed in pace slightly, at least enough for Milano to be given the advantage of overtaking them. And yeah, indeed, they're pulling ahead even just a couple of corners after. GFR slowing slightly in pace in this lap. They were lapping the high 70s/low 80s so far. and indeed it shows about 3-ish seconds that GFR had to reduce their speed. Milano is close to 7 seconds a lap faster. Good news though, I see the last lap sign being ready for GFR. They are still maneuvering through the hairpin on the Nordkurve section, so they might get some much needed time in the driver change to potentially cool off the car, put a fresh driver in. Of course, none of these cars have any assisted steering. It's all manual in terms of the muscle power needed to move the front wheels, and especially given how wide some of these tires are, it can be quite exhausting on top of the G-forces that these cars put onto the driver in each corner.
Yes, a lot of times I envy the drivers of these cars, because it's I know from experience how much fun it can be to drive these cars. I think with almost every one of us has driven an electric car like this. But yeah, in these conditions, under pressure, to perform, bring the car home in this heat, yeah, not easy.
No, the heat today, of course, not quite as scorching as the last couple of days. Today, I think it feels like at least 10 degrees cooler. The thermometer might call me a liar. Yeah. I think we've had hotter endurance days, but I don't think we've had so much consecutive heat leading up to the endurance. So team members as well as officials getting some much needed reprieve in terms of the temperature here on the Hockenheimring.
Yeah, so Milano is flying, increasing the speed a little bit, putting in lap times of 75 seconds. So that's actually really good. I think so far one of the fastest of the day on the endurance.
Yeah, the second driver able to push slightly more than the first driver was. Could of course also be down to strategy, just based on the projected energy consumption. But yeah, they found more pace than towards the end of their first stint. GFR now getting the checkered flag to pull into the driver change.
Yeah, and looking at these cars that run in the afternoon, let's say their average attrition rate is a lot lower than in the morning, right? In the morning we had 60% not finishing of all the cars, and so far we've only had one DNF. Not trying to jinx or put a curse on any of these cars, but so far they're doing a stellar job.
Yeah, it was only a heartbreak for Václav so far. Yeah, I do have to say it sounds quite relaxing out there on track. We have cars running, no frequent stoppages, everybody navigating to their best of their abilities. This is how we like the endurance to go.
Yeah, and to be fair, a good team, good car and a good driver, it all looks effortless, but of course we know better.
Yeah, this is all the result of hard work of a great number of people, both on the sides of the teams as well as the officials. Preparing this event here is a lot of work all around, and then to see it run so smoothly makes it ever more rewarding.
Yeah, we tend to forget that we only see a couple of cars and one driver per car and maybe one team member in the driver change area. But we know that watching from home or sitting in the grandstands cheering, there are a lot more people being quite worried with a heart rate towards the 200.
Yeah, good news for Amberg Biden. They are on their last lap of the endurance.
And NTNU Trondheim is on track. The team from Norway. They put a pretty good lap in the in the autocross. So they are within the last of the group before the final five. And we have some action out on track because Padova is being overtaken by Milano. Milano really flying. So let's hope Padova can keep up a little bit, but they have been lapping quite a bit slower than Milano. So probably just managing the car or tires or motors. But Milano is just flying.
Yeah, I see the checkered flag being readied for Amberg-Weiden. They still have about a third of the track left to go. Good news from Trondheim though. They have filled in the commentary form, which means that we know that it's either Fred or Stian driving for the endurance right now. And something that I didn't know was that their car number is 63 because they're 63 degrees north. Checkered flag now for Amberg-Weiden. Congratulations, we have our first endurance finisher of the afternoon session.
And back from driver change, also GFR, car number 137, ready to go. Just waiting for Trondheim to pass and then getting a couple of seconds of clear space. And off they go. They are back from driver change.
We do see the last lap sign being prepared for Milan now as well. And I think, judging by what we've seen so far, once they start their final lap, the next car should be released. And it does indeed seem that way. Car number 399 from High Speed Karlsruhe should be joining us soon. Padova seeing the last lap sign as well as Ostfalia finish endurance. Congratulations, Ostfalia, and now High Speed Karlsruhe begins their endurance stint.
Wow, already two of the finishers in the afternoon session. We had to wait an hour and a half, almost 2 hours this morning for the first endurance finisher. So already an awesome job by these teams getting the car home, and in impressive style, I might add.
Yes, this has been pretty competitive. Below 80 seconds was what we call the competitive time on the autocross already. Checkered flag for Eindhoven as well. 3 consecutive finishers, and yeah, congratulations. Of course, this is the idea behind the way that we stack the running order of the endurance, have as many of the faster cars grouped as close together as possible. And yeah, the advantage of setting a faster autocross time is that you can have a more smooth experience out on track.
And Milano finishing endurance with a stellar time on the lap on the boards as well, and immediately car number 85 out on track. But well done, Milan. That will be a party at the campsite for sure.
Yeah, so we're cycling through these afternoon session cars pretty quickly already. I think there's only 3 or 4 potentially left, in addition to the 6 that are currently on track. As we see car number 185 from Padova reach the finish line. Congratulations, Padova, finishing the endurance. And indeed, the next car is already at the green line, car number 124 from Tallinn.
Yeah, Tallinn, impressive team, impressive car. Just missed out on the final 5 yesterday on pure pace, but yeah, one of the fastest cars out there. So I would be very interested to see their lap times. And that's just and I'm looking at NTNU Trondheim, clipping a couple of cones in the cone killer chicane. A little bit of aggression there, but we like to see that.
I'm looking at the car from Delft. We have a similar situation as we've had with another car this morning. It looks like the brake light is constantly lit up. I forget which team it was this morning, but there it was an issue that was resolved in the driver change, essentially.
It was Detroit, I believe.
Yeah, it's quite likely that the officials will want to meatball Delft, pull them into the driver change area just to investigate.
They might not have to, because we see one of the cars, I think it's Delft, standing still on the straight in front of the main
in front of the main grandstand.
Yeah, sorry, grandstand. Sorry, I was just looking at the car, trying to find out what's going on.
Yeah, they were briefly lurching forward and also held up Karlsruhe slightly, but have come to a stop immediately after getting going. Usually in this situation, we would expect that any car that passes them, when it comes around a second time, we would see them
yeah,
pushed
they
away.
got going again. And also on track is TU Dortmund. They set a very quick lap time yesterday in the last stages of the autocross. They were very fast indeed. So rightfully this fast group of cars. So far, a couple of finishes already. So let's hope all these cars that are driving now are also able to finish the endurance.
Yeah, we'll be taking a bit of a closer look at the brake light of Delft. And it does seem to have fixed itself.
Yeah, sometimes this can be down to just the way the driver might be slightly riding the brake. There is a system in the car that should prevent the application of throttle when the brake is pressed too far. But yeah, in the heat of the moment here, the driver might just be resting on the brake a little bit too much.
Wow, and the first lap of Tallinn, I was talking about an impressive car, impressive team, but already in the first lap they did a 76, and the second lap is a 73.69, which is the best lap time of the day. Yeah, I'm just going to look at the other lap times. They're quite similar, to be honest. A lot of laps in the 77, 79, 76 range. Tallinn is by far the fastest. Dortmund is the first lap is at 82, and of course Delft, because of the long stoppage, it was 132 seconds. But for now, they seem to be driving on again.
Yeah, I think this lap might be a bit more representative of the pace the Delft car is capable of. We haven't seen any interruptions yet. We do see Tallinn has already almost caught up to GFR.
Here we go, first comparable time from Delft after the stoppage, speeding up significantly compared to the very first lap, 76.34.
Yeah, they're on par with Tallinn, also doing a 76.6. So, sorry, 73.5. I was looking at the old time. So 73 for Tallinn, 76 for Delft, 76 for High Speed Karlsruhe, 76 for Revolve Trondheim, and also 76 for GFR. Talk about the close competition.
Yeah, the competition might get even closer now that Tallinn is rapidly catching up to the back of the Delft car. There is about 3 seconds a lap pace difference between these two blue cars. I think we might see some blue flag action here pretty soon.
Yeah, I think Delft might just survive past the first overtaking section of the lap. No, indeed they do not. They do get waved in a little bit earlier, but a bit of planning ahead action from the officials.
Yeah, and you can see the Tallinn guys also actively using the DRS system. So the driver even has overcapacity to activate the DRS system and then flying past the Delft team. It looked like he's activating the DRS on quite a number of occasions. And he's actually improving on the lap time to 72.9. Wow, Tallinn, impressive.
Yeah, the DRS, of course, there to reduce the drag from the rear wing when you don't need necessarily all the downforce from that huge barn door of a downforce generating device on the back of your car.
Yeah, and I saw the driver also activating it in just coming out of the horseshoe as well, coming on into the slingshot. So let's look at it now because they are there. And there you have it, activating it, closing it again. I'm not sure whether that's linked to the throttle, actually, because it looks like it's being activated a lot by this driver. It's activated again and closed, yeah, so very briefly, but still.
Yeah, we saw some teams this morning run with their rear wing elements fully open. Well, for rules compliancy reasons, these cars are able to move those very same flaps automatically, and yeah, Tallinn making a lot of use of it. I do hope that they always manage to close it before going into a corner. That might lead to a spin out otherwise.
Yeah, and Tallinn consistently lapping around the 73 or just below the 73 second mark, so very impressive indeed. Yeah, they will come into the pits in a couple of laps, 4 laps to go before the pit stop. And high speed Karlsruhe is already there, so they will pit in the next lap.
Yeah, I think the Tallinn driver definitely driving very aggressively. I think on the Delft car I see quite a bit of lifting and coasting at the ends of the straights. If he's judging by the DRS behavior, stable the corner. I think implying that the driver is not quite hitting the brakes yet, just coasting on the regen. Trondheim, meanwhile, does see a checkered flag, and I believe that is them finishing the endurance. It is not them finishing the endurance, it is them coming in for the driver change. But there is a last lap sign being shown to GFR. They are now entering their final lap. We're hearing quite heavy bottoming out now from the car from Dortmund. I'm not sure if the suspension got a little bit looser.
Last lap for high-speed Karlsruhe. They're being chased down by Dortmund by the looks of it, despite the bottoming out noises that we hear from their front wing.
Yeah, and Tallinn just yeah, very constantly lapping 70, 73. Last time 73.4. It's very, very consistent. Their average lap time is a 73.8 at the moment, which is pretty quick.
And car number 137, GFR, finishing their endurance run. Congratulations.
Yeah, solid run by GFR. Good pace, a lot of points on the endurance. So for sure they will finish up high in the ranking. And also we have high-speed Karlsruhe in for the driver change, as far as I can tell. And Trondheim's second driver is already in the car, getting ready for the second part of endurance.
Yeah, we hear the cooling fans on the Trondheim car blasting. I would hope that they're trying to cool it down far enough that they can give the exact same performance that we saw from them in their first stint.
Last lap sign for the Tallinn driver. That's for going into the pit.
We have a fresh car moving towards the green flag position. Car number 31 from the TU Munich will join us on track pretty soon. I think Dortmund will pass them first, and then with a little bit of delay we will release Munich.
Yeah, and Tallinn is relentless, improving their best lap time to 72.6. I'm pretty impressed by this car.
Munich now out on track. and indeed, we're keeping it quite competitive out there on track. We're now mostly lapping in the low to medium 70s, so already still quite a jump compared to the cars that started this afternoon session.
And Trondheim returning to the track, closely followed by Delft, but they are into the pit area for their driver change as well.
And despite the little hiccup from Delft, they did have a best lap of 75.2, which is pretty good. At the end, oh no, they were actually matching their 75. I had a feeling that they were saving a little bit on energy, but then the driver was allowed to push again. An average of 83, of course, they stood still for quite a while, but they recovered well.
Yeah, and looking at the lap times of this group, they were just second with the best lap times, at least behind Tallinn. Tallinn is class of their own with a 72.6, almost 3 seconds faster than the rest.
Last lap for Dortmund, but not before they were shown the blue flag in favor of Munich overtaking them. So in the span of just one lap, Munich got close enough that they were able to overtake Dortmund.
Yeah, first lap of too fast. Munich was a 75.6. I believe the first lap of Tallinn was a 76, and Munich already faster in the first lap.
Impressive stuff indeed, and I think definitely the too fast car has the potential to go in the very low 70s, maybe even a sub 70 time, who knows. And I think it was high-speed Karlsruhe that made it out of the pit again, so with a good successful driver change. And the second driver, Julius, is on his way.
Yes, looking at the raw pace of these cars, I would not have been surprised if some of these teams would have made it to the final 5 as well, because we do see regularly teams like Munich or Delft, Trondheim in the final 5, right?
Indeed, but it was a super close field yesterday at the autocross. While I say that too fast, almost misjudged the corner here just at the very beginning.
They were literally too fast. There we have Dortmund in for the driver change.
Yeah, for Dortmund, we have Tom Kemper and Dustin Reinhardt behind the wheel for endurance and autocross. Thank you guys for filling in the information. They want to give a shout out to Leonard, the head of electronics. He spent his entire birthday working on the car.
Also Revolve now improving is the second driver. The first lap of the second driver, or maybe it was the third lap, was already a 75. And now the last lap was a 74. So also they are interested in the best lap time of the day.
And I was also looking at the Karlsruhe driver. Average lap time 77.4, 77.5 on the last one, 77.4, 77.3, 77.6. Talk about consistency from Karlsruhe. Wow, that's impressive.
Calm and collected now. Tallinn moved to the green flag, returning with their second driver ready for the second stint.
Yeah, we had just too fast past the line in a 73.2, so not quite matching the best time of Tallinn yet. Only 8 tenths off so far. Let's see if they will speed up still, or if this will be the pace that they are going for. I hear the sound, and I think that's the Delft car with their second driver. Second driver is Max, and I think he'll be very happy that he can drive here, because
Matti Calamity out on track. I think Munich is stationary.
That does look like Munich indeed, because I see all the other cars still driving. And off goes Delft. Definitely not holding back. Lifting a bit into the first corner, but yeah, there's some speed in that car.
Yeah, Munich got going again, fortunately, now navigating the hairpin of the North Kurve. Wouldn't be the first team that we've seen take a brief break out on track, Delft doing the same thing. But now it looks like they're holding somebody up, actually.
Yeah,
Munich is slow. They're coming to a stop again.
that might be high-speed Karlsruhe, who they caught up, I think, in the very first laps. High-speed Karlsruhe got past now, and then I think also Delft is now meeting up with TU Fast there at the end of Pendulum, getting past clearly. We can it's just out of our sight what's happening with the TU Fast car.
Yeah, they're just behind the big building from our point of view, and the big timing screen. So unfortunately we cannot see them, but we do see the marshals still waving yellow flags, indicating there is something on track. So all the drivers that come up needs to slow down, manage the pace, and then go around the stricken Munich car.
I have a feeling the car of Munich is being pushed right now, so that would mean a DNF for them. Yeah, I see some marshals desperately trying to move that car out of the way.
Yeah, the driver is still in the car actually, but it sounds like he was the one making the call to the officials to please push him off the track. That's really unfortunate. We only saw this super fast running car for 4 laps out here today.
Yeah, we have TU Dortmund back from driver change, ready to rejoin the rumble.
Dortmund coming back with their second driver. They're just being held briefly to let Trondheim past with a little gap.
Yeah, it looks like car number 76, Karlsruhe, Kit, coming up to the line, and they just being motioned forward by the official. And so we have a car here which has a big rear wing, but unfortunately no front wing. From what we understand is that something happened in the queue, and that incident caused their wing to be broken. So that means that Kit will be running without a front wing, but they do have the big rear wing. So let's just hope that doesn't cause a lot of understeer. And there they are, Karlsruhe. This must be very, very difficult for this driver to
Yeah, it does
navigate.
cause a lot of understeer here in the first chicane after the starting line. You could see the driver just patiently waiting with his sand clock to wait for the car to actually rotate.
Yeah.
Luckily with these modern electric cars you do have a bit of torque factoring which helps you a bit, but in the end you're just lacking some grip on the front. I did spoke with the team just a bit earlier in the queue, and apparently they had a lot of bad luck with their front wings in previous competitions and also in previous years. They quite often lost their front wing due to various incidents. So in that sense the drivers are also trained to drive without it, so that's the only positive thing we can take away from this.
Yeah, it goes to show just how fragile these cars can be. Ah, we have a car stationary. It's Kit. Very close to where Munich fell silent, just inside the infield here. I think the grandstands can't see it in this case. This is how it feels. I do still see the tree cell flashing, and they're off again. No, Delft is stationary as well. The Nordkurve this time. This is a similar spot that they fell silent in the first stint.
Driver is already getting out, so that must mean some kind of error. No, he's looking at the rear of the car. So that might be a suspension failure, Jonas.
Yeah, yet another suspension victim. We've seen it yesterday in the autocross, this morning in the endurance. And yeah, this would be the first suspension failure of the afternoon session.
Yeah, so many suspension failures today. It's unbelievable. Yeah, just bad luck. Let's hope the other cars can drive on and finish their endurance, because these teams have been prepared so well for this endurance. Yeah, very impressive to see, especially the lap times and the persistence of the drivers.
Yeah, despite Kit not running without a front wing, I have to say they look pretty quick. So I hope they get an undisturbed lap anytime soon. So we'll get a bit of an idea of their pace.
Yeah, there was obviously a yellow flag situation caused by Delft, but the first lap time of Kit is 108.8.
Yeah, because they were marked for quite a while
sure.
there.
And we're just hearing over the officials channel that it's in fact not suspension related, but a tire came off, either slipping off completely or just deflating. That we can't confirm just yet.
Revolve at the other end of the circuit, making their final 100 meters, a couple of 100 meters I should say, about to finish the endurance. They come back to the infield. This will be the last few set of corners for driving on Revolve.
Yeah, and Kit, we were talking about Kit, what kind of time they can do without a front wing. It's not bad actually, it's at 83.8. Which is really impressive without a front wing, and it's a completely different driving style. As you said, Matthias, of course, there are systems like torque vectoring and so on, but it's on slow turns. It must be killing the driver.
Yeah, we actually have another car out on track now. This one doesn't have a number or transponder. We're distributing much needed ice cream to some of the marshals. Trondheim though, I think this is them finishing the endurance. Checkered flag for them. Congratulations.
Yeah, they snuck up on us a little bit, but Matthias was aware and he was pointing at them. So yeah, great job by the Norwegian team.
And last lap sign for Karlsruhe too. They will also be hoping to finish here at the end of this lap.
Kit is getting into the groove with an 82.7 now. Slight improvement, but for them it will be a matter of finishing it as smooth as possible.
Yeah, we can safely say that the wing that they're missing is costing them 5, 6, 7 seconds a lap, maybe even more, because normally they are fast, they are rightly in this group. So yeah, that's really unfortunate, but impressive how the driver is managing this car.
Meanwhile, high-speed Karlsruhe in their final set of corners. Final time to enjoy slingshot. One more braking zone. And across the line goes high-speed Karlsruhe. They wrap up their endurance. Congratulations to them. And I think this might be a pretty good overall time. In fact, this is the best overall time in the endurance that we have seen so far. Narrowly beating Revolve and Milano. Again, this is of course just purely based on the actual lap times. We have no clue about how many codes or of courses are being accounted for.
Well, looking at Tallinn, last couple of laps they have slowed down considerably. Second driver doing 76, 77, 78 and even 82nd laps. So we know the car is capable of going faster obviously, but perhaps they have some kind of order or issue to save energy and bring the car home. So the driver is now doing an 80.8, so that means 8 seconds slower than their fastest lap time. So yeah, they're probably just coasting, bring the car home. They're on their last lap, so that's fully understood.
And as far as I can see, Dortmund is telling us that this is their new developed all-wheel drive platform. So does that mean that this is the first year that they're driving four-wheel drive here? If that is the case, and they're doing a very impressive job of being so quick on their first go with four-wheel drive. Yeah, you can see and hear the understeer from Kit, but driver is doing a good job at managing it.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at Tallinn, driving slower and slower, coming into the last time in the horseshoe, in the slingshot. So one more acceleration from Tallinn, carefully coming into the last chicane and taking the checkered flag. Tallinn, car number 124, finishing endurance as well. Impressive total time, probably the fastest one.
Yes, indeed. Despite their late laps, you know, I would say slowliness, but slowing down a little bit, they do have the best total time. Almost, yeah, over 20 seconds quicker than high-speed Karlsruhe overall.
Yeah, I do wonder if Tallinn was maybe a little bit of employing a little bit of energy saving here in the last lap. Sometimes there are systems in the car that will limit the potential throttle input of the driver in the interest of finishing the laps.
Yeah, so looking at the track, Dortmund, Kit, also looking at the driver from Tallinn. He must be pretty tired because he's taking his time to take off the helmet, his gloves, balaclava. The scrutineers are asking, are you okay? So he's probably exhausted, Matthias. Maybe you can have a little chat with the team?
Yeah, they're looking exhausted but happy. I think this is a great performance, great showing from them. They've been getting faster year over year, and yeah, this one definitely one to remember.
Yeah, now we're just looking at the Kit car and the Dortmund car. They will have to finish their laps on the endurance before we can get to the final five who are already in the queue. It's the final five. It's Stuttgart, it's Zurich, it's Chalmers, it's Aachen, and the last one.
I am
Renteam, of course.
I am here with the quickest man of the day so far. Goes by the name Marco from Tallinn. Marco, how was it to drive the car, and how did you feel about setting the best lap time?
Yeah, it was really nice. I think quick times from the beginning and fastest in the middle lap by 5-6 laps, and yeah, in the end a bit bumped in the tires, but it was really nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, just to interrupt you, Matti, we have a finisher coming up. Dortmund.
Across the line, congratulations, guys. Yeah, also thank you to the Tallinn driver. We don't want to send you away so rudely, but indeed, we had on-track action to handle. Yeah, and now that we only have the front wingless Kit out there on track, I do cast my eyes into the queue like Mickey just did. We already have we have all five of our final five patiently waiting. So I don't think we will have any out of order running. That means the final five are up right when Kit finishes. Kit coming through wings for the last time with this driver anyway. This is their last lap before the driver change. And then it will be, 3 minutes to change the driver, maybe another 12 minutes or so for their second stint. But yeah, such do be the running rules for a Final 5 kind of setup. We gotta wait patiently now. Checkered flag is ready for Kit to come in.
Yeah, great job by this driver. Consistent lap times must be very, very difficult to navigate the course like this. And we're looking at the second driver looks a little bit, smaller than the previous driver. So we will have also one of the team members probably unscrewing the cap or the protective cover, and then doing the adjustment on the pedal box.
And I think I saw the second driver putting his phone in the car. I don't think it's to do Android navigation or calling. Actually, I do think it's for calling. It's something we've seen more often with other teams, that actually they just do a WhatsApp call with the engineers here on the side.
Yeah, or a regular car. I mean, it's 12 minutes or something like that, right? So if you have an 80 seconds for 9 laps, 720 seconds. Divided by 60 is like 12 minutes of phone call, and then you are in a constant communication with your team. So, yeah, why not?
Yeah, what would you be chatting about? Matti, what did you like to hear as a driver while you were out there?
I think just knowing what lap you are, because you're so focused, you completely forget in what lap you are. Even after the second lap already, you just completely lose count. It's also nice to know if there's just 2 more laps to go, then you know a bit for yourself how to manage your own energy, but also the car. So that's just a good peace of mind. It's also nice to know if you hit any cones. Sometimes you don't see it when you hit any cones. So, and also just, I really like just to have someone else present, because in the car itself, it's a lonely business.
It's lonely and exhausting indeed. You're wrapped in multiple blankets, the driver's suit, the fireproof underwear, definitely not contributing to keep the drivers cool, although it does keep them safe in the event of a flaming end of the car.
Yeah, just once more emphasizing how good the driver of Karlsruhe was. They did an average of 84, but every lap time I see is 81, 81, 82, 80. So very consistent lap times, even though the car is in a pretty challenging and tricky condition without the front wing. Let's see if the second driver is equally experienced and can equally keep his calm in this situation. And I think they'll have the track all for themselves.
Yeah, once again, the last couple of laps, they were already alone out there, Tallinn and Trondheim sort of leaving early. And yeah, front wingless is clearly slightly slower than Kit would have hoped for had their front wing still be intact.
This also gives the track marshals a little bit of, let's say, free time to sit down a little bit. We've been standing out on tarmac yesterday as well for a long, long time, and we know how difficult it is to stand out without any shade. You have to be standing. You cannot be sitting down while there are cars on track. So, yeah, it's quite challenging for these track marshals, and every credit to them.
Yeah, just as you say that, we have the call out to the marshal posts to get back up, a rise for Karlsruhe to return for their second stint. We have a little service vehicle still distributing some cold drinks and ice cream for the on-track marshals here. I do hope that they can manage to escape before Kit is released. Yeah, while all this is happening out on track, the final 5 are now being reversed into the launch boxes. One of the specialties of the final 5, of course, is that all 5 of these cars will be released more or less within the same lap. So there will be a relatively small gap only between them, and they should all roughly be in the same pace, barring any other calamities.
Yeah, and the kid second driver slowly being roasted in the car, waiting for the green flag to go out on track. But it looks like the golf cart first needs to clear the track to make it absolutely safe for the kit car to continue the endurance. But I can imagine the driver is waiting and saying, why am I not driving yet?
Yeah, looks like our support golf cart is now headed towards the dynamic area exit, and we should be ready here for kits momentarily. Kit is still waiting. I'm looking at the team members of the final 5 runners. It's very calm and collected overall, but you can really see the focus and especially the drivers' faces. Yeah, very internalizing the moment, trying to ignore the fact that they are roasting from the sun exposure here, and just trying to focus on what lies ahead.
While we are waiting for the Karlsruhe car, the second driver, to be released on track, I have the first driver here called Kai. Kai, how was it to drive the car in challenging conditions?
Yeah, it was quite challenging, especially without the front wing, quite understeery, but I think I found a way to drive the car. It was hopefully quite fast. Yeah, so I'm quite happy with that regarding the conditions. Yeah.
Yeah, well done. You had a very consistent and quick lap time, so good job. I hope you can enjoy a little bit of shade and some drinks now, and we'll see how your colleague fares on. Thank you.
Kit navigating the horseshoe in the Nordkurve for the first time with this driver. Let's hope that he also finds his way around the aerodynamic limitations. With these last-minute changes, the front wing broke, as far as we can tell, when they were already in the dynamic area, waiting for their run here in the endurance.
Yeah, first driver seemed pretty happy with his own performance, and rightfully so, because it didn't look all too easy. But he managed to get the car around pretty consistently as well, and also not too slow. So yeah, well done by the first driver. Let's see if the second driver can duplicate that performance. And yeah, being the only car out on track, also being followed by a drone and all the cameras on track. I think the sponsors of KIT, they have extra coverage now, so maybe next year they will increase their sponsorship.
Yeah, it looks in terms of times though very similar to where the first driver left off. Sort of low 80 seconds running is competitive with sort of the first quarter to a third of this afternoon session so far.
Yeah, and coping with understeer is one of the most difficult things to do for any driver, because you have an input in the steering wheel and then you have to wait until something happens. And also, of course, you have things like braking into a corner and trying to turn in a bit earlier to anticipate on the let's say the lag of the action of the car. But still, it requires such an extra effort. And we can see it also accelerating out of the corners. Even then, you can see the understeer in the car.
Yeah, I do recall some of the incidents, other incidents where a kid broke their front wing. I think it was 2 or 3 years ago in the driverless event. We saw them in the tire barrier after they had to abort their run. So yeah, even here at FSG, kids not having much luck with the integrity of their aerodynamic devices.
Yeah, and for people wondering why Kit is alone out on track, this is a fairly standard procedure for the FSG competition endurance. This has to do with the 5 fastest cars of the autocross. They deliberately wait for a clear track to send the fastest 5 cars out simultaneously. This is considered as the grand finale of the FSG endurance, but also the FSG competition itself. This has been like a tradition for over 15 years, almost 20 years now, that this tradition is there. And yeah, it's always a big spectacle of 5 very fast cars simultaneously out on track.
Yeah, I think you were there when this tradition was introduced based on an accident, and yeah, it does make it extremely exciting. Of course, here for the finals, every now and then we do see it happen that we have one sole runner sort of getting a lot of the spotlight just before they take off.
Yeah, and we can see the marshals taking advantage of the, let's say, one-car track to push the stricken cars already out of the main track, let's say, onto the side, and allowing the team to collect their cars. Not to repair them or anything because the competition is over, but mainly to start to pack up. A lot of teams pack up quite early. And leave the competition because they have to get a boat or a plane, or they have other arrangement, maybe even a next competition. But yeah, and in the meantime we see Karlsruhe just crossing the start-finish line again, and looking at the times.
Yeah, this is lap 14 that they're on now. They've actually managed to break in the sub-80 second round now. This last one, 78.12, and the previous lap just a tenth slower than that. So yeah, the second driver managing to find even more pace out of the front on this skid.
Yeah, that is impressive. I was already impressed by the first driver doing 283 second laps, but being below 80 seconds with a stricken car is impressive indeed.
Yeah, Kit even managing to now break into the 77th second realm with their run. So yeah, driver clearly having fun out there. Of course, one of the advantages of running in this state is there's absolutely no blue flags to worry about. Something that is definitely happening with multiple cars out on track, or at least there's an increased chance. That is part of the reason for the final 5. These are the fastest cars that we would trust, that have very similar pace, so that we can see minimum overtaking with maximum on-track action.
Yeah, and Jonas, Matti and me are in the pits looking at the fastest 5 cars of this competition. At least the fastest 5 on the autocross, obviously. They all look tidy, neat, well finished, attention to detail. We're looking at Zurich. They all have some kind of fan as well. Looking at Zurich, well, everybody knows Zurich by now in this competition. they've done so well on many of the dynamics, but also in the previous years. Next to them we have Prague, which is a little bit of an outsider coming into FSG. Of course, they have been doing quite well in previous competitions too, but seeing them here in the final 5 is a very good thing. And also next to them is a very well-known team to us, Matti.
Yeah, Aachen yesterday with their very late appearance for the second driver, who only got to do 1 run, and with that 1 run managed actually to get into the top 5. So imagine what they can do. We haven't seen the full potential of them just yet.
Now I'm also looking at their impressive aero package. I think out of the 5 cars, they might have the most impressive aero package. I don't see a single straight wing on the whole car. All the cars have double edges or some kind of curves that are 3D. Yeah, very impressive looking aero package as well. And next to them we have Stuttgart, also one of the, let's say, usual suspects.
I think indeed almost every year we see them here appear again in the top 5. Super impressive time yesterday as well. What I found impressive about their time is that both drivers immediately were on the pace and were exactly matched to each other. So that is a very good sign going into the endurance. The best lap time does not count, it's the average lap time and the amount of mistakes you make with it. So they might actually be a very good contender to take it away.
Yeah, and then the last one, the 5th one in the queue from our position at least, is Chalmers from Sweden. Always, let's say, in the sub-top, just below the 5, occasionally making it into the final 5. But now they have the place in this final of this endurance. So yeah, actually well done, and they did pretty good on the driverless events as well.
Indeed, they are very good at drivers, I would even say. But also showing up for the manual autocross yesterday. Yeah, earning them a place here in the endurance. I really liked how the car was driving yesterday. The driver was pretty aggressive but controlled, resulting in an extremely fast lap time. Who's your money on, Mickey?
Hoosier? They all have Hoosiers. Matthijs, sorry, Matti. Who's my money on? Oh, wow, that's a difficult question. If I have to look at the history, if history repeats, then Zurich has a very strong package on the endurance as well. But of course, you can never rule out Stuttgart. And in this case, the outsiders, Aachen and Prague and Chalmers, are coming for them. But my money would be on a close battle between Stuttgart and Zurich. But it's everybody's game.
Coming for it too is Kit. They were shown the last lap sign a little bit ago, are navigating the Nordkurve section for the last time now. They had big cheers every lap from the team members watching on from the side of the track here. Really nice to see them trying to egg on their driver to just keep it going and finish this last lap. They've been lapping consistently. They had one outlier, sort of a low 80s, but have been lapping in the 77 to 78 second range, even without their front wing.
I'll give one more take to our predictions. I'll go for Stuttgart. Why? Because I think Zurich is doing very well in the overall standings, so maybe they just want to bring it home and do a little bit more conservative, while I think Stuttgart can still use some points. And across the line,
bringing it home, yes.
Karlsruhe Kit without their front wing, extremely impressive pace from them, super consistent, no mistakes. Wow, big congratulations to them.
Yeah, that's very impressive. Big cheers for Kit. Such bad luck in the last moment, and having to deal with that in such a professional manner is just very impressive, and they fully deserve to finish endurance.
And suddenly everyone wakes up here because it is time for the final 5 to get started. All the 5 cars will be ready to drive, and they will be released after each other. If we get it all right, they will be on exactly the same lap, meaning they will only be launched 200 meters apart from each other.
Yeah, it's a sort of really calm focus that now settles over the driver change area. All the drivers are in the cars. Only Aachen is sort of receiving last instructions from one of the team members. We would be looking to have all the tractive systems enabled simultaneously, I think, in the interest of having them run as close as possible so that we can really spread them across the track on the same lap. What goes through the mind of a driver at this point?
Good question. I think what they all think at this point is, damn, I'm hot.
Yeah, and don't screw up, don't screw up, don't screw up, don't screw up.
Yeah, of course, what rests on the shoulders of these drivers is the culmination of at least a year of effort and input from countless people, not just within the team, from sponsors, from mothers and fathers at home, trying to provide the mental support for each team member to carry on. This is a really momentous day, and every Final Five every year is special once again. Really cool to see everybody show up and put forward their most competitive leg.
Yeah, and we always see a bit of 3 phases in every stint. Certainly here in the first lap, it's about getting acquainted with the track. Of course, they've driven it yesterday on autocross, but also the car needs to get into the rhythm. The regenerative braking is not always 100% on the first lap. Once you get into the rhythm, then it's finding your pace, and at some point you reach some limits with temperatures. You need to start managing that before you hand over the car to the second driver.
Yeah, and of course at some point you really hope to reach that Zen mode. I remember a very special moment driving the Delft car that I've built, where you just sort of feel the car doing exactly what you want. You really feel in control and you're flowing through every corner. I think that's what every driver is really aiming towards, especially on such a special track.
Yeah, and the other way around, if the car is just not doing what you want, it's hugely frustrating, and you have to really restrict yourself from overdriving, over pushing the car just to be faster, because normally that means you're making mistakes. You're even slower than with you driving, let's say, in a relaxed manner, just listening to the car and see and feel what it wants.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned them much here in the endurance session so far, but of course the cones are still out on track. Every single cone that is knocked over counts an extra 2 seconds to the overall time for that team. There are a couple of other penalties that I won't get into now, but of course driving clean is going to be handled the best in terms of the end time, so don't try to overfight the car indeed.
Yeah, and it's exactly this focus mode you want to get into, until then something happens with the car, something unpredictable. And that's also when mistakes from drivers or from the car itself start to build up, and you end up with a bit more chaotic run. Now, fingers crossed that we have 5 cars performing at its peak on this endurance, and if there are any 5 cars on this competition that can do it, it's these 5.
Absolutely. We are seeing, I think, a last set of checks and preparations here. The cars in the driver change. It's a bit of a pity that none of the grandstands can really see this area, so we're trying to give you as much input from here as we can. I think it is the Chalmers car that's still receiving the most attention from one of the head scrutineers. All the other cars are not quite charged yet, but they do seem very much ready to go.
Yes, and as you were saying, we do see the last check at the Prague car as well. So, yep.
Good one, Mickey. This is also a really cool moment to take pictures of the cars, because they're all aligned, and I think they try to align it that all the heads of the drivers are perfectly in line. So perfect opportunity for the media team to have a super nice shot where all the faces go on, Mickey. We need to focus for the final 5. You make me laugh.
Yeah, this we're just enjoying ourselves, but you can't blame us, because this is the moment we've been waiting for all day. Of course, we've had a lot of excitement on track this morning and this afternoon. Quick cars, slow cars, overtaking, dramas, failed suspensions, a lot of errors. But this is it. This is what we've been waiting for all day. And this is also arguably the hottest moment of the day. The sun is out, so temperatures are rising, just like our excitement.
Yeah, we were debating whether rain was going to play into this final 5 running at all. I've looked at 360 degrees around, and I see only a very few set of faint white clouds sort of wisping across the blue sky. And I'm seeing thumbs up from race control to all the stations. I think we're going to do one last radio check to every single marshal post, just make sure everybody's present and right where they need to be. That means we hear ready to drive sounds here behind us. Multiple cars already charging and good to go towards the green flag. There we go, Chalmers is going to be first. Yeah, you can really tell how giddy even us commentators are getting here now. We're excited for this at least as much as all the other drivers and team members out there. It's really nice to be here. Chalmers is out on track.
Yeah, Stuttgart already behind them, out on track as well. Wow, not even less than 5 seconds between the two.
Yeah,
and I think they will continue with this. Also, Aachen released onto track, car number 99, already aggressively taking the Concula chicane. They will not wait long for CTU Prague. There you go. 4th car out on track.
And last but not least, Zurich also getting the green flag right now.
Prague immediately starting with some lift and coast already on the first straight. So, and the same goes for Zurich. So all these cars are really using their lift and coast strategies.
Yes, and they're probably also preventing them to brake hard and preventing any AMS errors like we saw earlier today. Probably these cars have been fully charged to their maximum capacity, just to make sure they get to the end of the endurance.
Yeah, and just to explain, of course, when the battery is fully charged, any regenerative braking that all of these cars have would immediately result in an overvoltage. So in the first couple of corners or in a couple of laps even, you would expect them to lay off on the regen.
Stuttgart is already lining up its first victim. They are chasing Chalmers and getting closer and closer. So I think in the coming lap they'll do potentially their first overtake. But Aachen is also closing in on the pair of them.
At the same time, Aachen has been looking a little bit less stable than the two runners in front of them. We already saw them almost collect a couple of cones right ahead of Wings on the infield.
Looking at the first lap of Stuttgart is a 78, but Aachen doing a 76.8. So almost 2 seconds faster than Stuttgart.
Yeah, all cars are clearly lift and coasting, apart from the Aachen car actually. Of course, I'm only looking at one straight, so maybe I'm very biased against one straight here.
Yeah, for sure, because Prague is not lifting and coasting as well, 76.3, and AMZ also doing 76.8.
But they're doing that with lift and coast, So yeah, combining lift and coast with impressive lap times, that's how you win endurance. Chalmers did find some pace, and they are managing to keep Stuttgart behind them.
Yeah, Aachen losing track of Renteam just a little bit, and they're also definitely the loudest car out there right now. We hear lots of tires squeaking from them, but also what I think is something rubbing across the ground, especially in the bumpier infield section of the track here.
Yes, if I'm comparing Chalmers' drive style to the Renteam drive style, it's a lot smoother. But a little bit slower than Renteam, because Renteam is catching Chalmers, but it's quite a difference in driving style.
Yeah, and Aachen confirmed is just going full beans on the straight, while all the other cars are lifting, coasting at least a little bit.
Full beans meaning quite fast. I think Zurich now has the fastest lap time at 75.5, closely followed by Prague, 75.8, and then 76.5 from Aachen, 78 from Stuttgart, and 80.2 from Chalmers. So very, very close battle indeed.
Yeah, we see the entire field compressing a little bit compared to the state in which we launched them. Chalmers sort of leading a bit of a train of the 5 cars. But still, Stuttgart not quite there yet for the overtake.
I think this might be close enough that they will do a first blue flag. It's not quite essential to do it now. It can also be on the next stage, but it is imminent.
Yeah, if the driver from Chalmers looks behind, then he can start sweating, starting to see Stuttgart coming closer and closer. No blue flag yet, but Red Team is right up there with them.
The problem is, the longer you wait, the more that Aachen can catch up with the pair, and then suddenly we have Aachen behind Stuttgart as well. Then they will have to overtake Stuttgart, and then probably you have Chalmers again overtaking Red Team. So.
Bit of a domino effect going on there potentially. Chalmers now being waved aside so that Red Team and Aachen can place past.
Well, maybe not so bad, because now they only had to pull into this overtake area once instead of twice. So maybe it's not too bad that they got overtaken by two of the cars.
But it will depend on how quickly Aachen can catch Stuttgart, if they catch them at all.
Yeah, and we see now a battle unfolding between Ren Team and Aachen. They're quite close to each other. Aachen is a little bit
Sorry
faster.
to interrupt. Chalmers is coming to a halt just at the beginning of the slalom. Rapidly approaching is Prague and also Zurich.
Yellow flags out for both of those cars. They're being waved past relatively quickly, not too much of a hold-up.
So Zurich is aiming for its target. They will be overtaking Prague probably anytime soon. Of course, the yellow flag situation didn't help with the gap.
And AMZ coming up to the diffuser of Prague. So I'm not sure whether Prague is getting the blue flag, not yet, but for sure the next time there will be a blue flag shown. Chalmers is got going again, that's good to see. So we have two proper battles on the track.
Yeah,
Aachen
they actually just overtook Stuttgart.
Yeah, Aachen and Stuttgart, but they're still quite close to each other. But also we have Prague and Zurich battling each other on track, which is very exciting.
Good to see that Chalmers got going again. They collected the cone here in the chicane right after the start. But yeah, they're not an on-track obstacle anymore.
Yeah, and Aachen and AMZ both doing 75.7 and 75 second laps, so pretty impressive. Closely followed by Prague with 76, and then Ren Team Stuttgart with 77. Chalmers obviously had an issue, so they're slow a little bit. But yeah, it's really great to see this battle on track.
We were, of course, marbling at the times and potentially employed strategies here before they got started. I'm really curious to see if the second drivers will maybe push into the sort of lower 70-second lap times for these final five.
They're actually Aachen just beating the best lap of Zurich by 1 millisecond. 73.238. Not quite matching the best lap from Tallinn, from Marco, the driver that we've seen. Of course, it's all about having the best average lap time.
Smooth is fast and fast is good. Average making everything count. We have all of the cars now in their 6th lap. So in just 3 laps time, they will probably all peel in here consecutively into the driver change. And then things also get heated up when they launch again. Oh, we have Prague stationary. Just after the slalom here in the infield. The tractor system is still charged. Chalmers is coming up on the scene, but Prague got going again, so no yellow flags necessary.
Yeah, and Zurich not holding back at all, 72.8. On average also 74, so pretty good. Fastest lap time doesn't count, it's all about the average, but Zurich totally not holding back. Even though maybe they are well ahead in points in the competition, they're still wanting this trophy as well.
I think the heat is slowly taking a slight toll on the Chalmers driver. I see him clipping more and more cones every now and then throughout his run. So yeah, they're falling behind in terms of pace a bit, maybe also due to driver fatigue.
I also had the feeling that Prague was a bit slower after their stoppage. So maybe the driver got the heads up or the wake-up call to drive just a little bit slower and preserve the car.
And all of them have 3 laps remaining before the driver change. We will have them in together.
Sorry, we had yellow flags out there just ahead of the hairpin. Maybe something happened in the position where we can't see it on the Nordkurve.
What I think is an interesting development is between Stuttgart and Aachen, because Stuttgart is actually catching back up with Aachen in the lap time, and we can also visually see it that they are heading closer towards them. Yeah, look at Prague. They are definitely managing an issue, not as quick as they were doing in the first few laps.
Yeah, they suddenly dropped to 88 seconds and they got a meatball flag for some reason. I don't understand why or what the reason is.
Let me investigate.
I did not quite see that coming. We also did not hear anything on the radio. Jonas, Sherlock Jonas is on the hunt for information. I said that Stuttgart was about to overtake Aachen, or at least getting closer, but it looks like the gap increased just a bit now. And also Zurich is slowly getting into the mix, but I think before they will get into the mix, we'll probably head into the driver change before they will ever meet Stuttgart and Aachen.
Yeah, and Aachen finding some pace again, 72.9.
Indeed, maybe it was just one lap where they were just slightly slower, which was still a 75. But this is definitely...
Yeah, super bad news for Prague. They have just declared themselves that they want to abort this run. I'm looking onto the rear right tire, and I can see an open drivetrain. There's black covers installed on all of the other wheels, and there's oil leaking out and the gears exposed.
Very sensible from them to pull in themselves, not leaking any more oil or stranding on the track. So very respectfully towards their competitors, but of course big shame that they cannot finish the endurance. And we will see now all cars in the pit. So Aachen across the finish, Renteam across the finish. And it's just a matter of a few seconds before also Zurich will make its way towards the pit box.
Yeah, this is sort of the moment we've been waiting for in the driver change area. It's now extremely busy. Of course, the stricken Prague car is still in the way slightly. All these bays where the cars are being serviced are extremely narrow. So with the cars peeling in off the track, we're still waiting for AMZ, of course. It's getting really busy, people having to look out a lot left and right for cars not to step on any aerodynamic devices and to switch over the driver as swiftly but calmly as possible.
Yeah, and you meant, Jonas, we're waiting for Chalmers not to use it.
Oh yeah, of course, they've already peeled in.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the average lap times so far. So we have a 72.5 average for AMZ. Then closely followed with a 72.9 average.
Those are the best times, Mickey.
Oh, sorry,
one
best
column
times.
more to the right.
Yeah, excuse me, those are the best times. But it's a very close competition indeed. And also the averages are not that far away, 73.9 and a 74.5. Which is really, really close if you consider everything. So we have a proper battle actually going on between AMZ and Aachen.
Yeah, and I think if Renteam still has some juice in the box and a quick second driver, then they can still make up for the difference. I'm very curious how the second part will pan out.
You just want to have your prediction validated, Matti. So
exactly.
I see what you did there.
Entirely unself-serving, I get it. I'm listening to the AMZ drivers and Aachen drivers both basically screaming instructions to each other, little tips of where to improve, how to handle the car, while the Prague car is still standing next to us, blaring its cooling fans. So it's really busy here. I think Renteam is going to be the first one to be able to charge and join you out on track again.
Yeah, with these helmets as drivers, you cannot hear anything. So indeed, I can imagine that there's a lot of screaming going on. And off they go, very quick again, is Red Team Stuttgart.
Not leaving anything on the table there. Immediately full mode, full attack mode. Very impressive driving in the first couple of corners indeed. And it was quite a quick driver change from Red Team as well, because they're out there and the next car is nowhere being finished even. So yes, of course C2 Prague is done, but Zurich and Aachen are still there. Chalmers have pulled in a little bit later, so now as far as we can tell, Aachen is also ready and charging the car, getting ready to go.
Of course, it's no advantage really for Renteam to be out there this early. If Aachen manages to stay below the allotted 3 minutes, they might just want to get this over as quickly as possible.
Yeah, the only thing is that now Renteam has a fairly clean track in front of them, so whatever happens, they're not being held up by another car. Just as we're saying that, Zurich comes out just in front of Renteam. So I'm not sure whether that was the wise decision by the marshals to let them out, but hopefully Zurich doesn't pose a nuisance for Renteam, and we'll keep an eye on the lap times.
It will be very essential now for Zurich to pick up the pace to make sure that they don't get overtaken, because if you get overtaken, you do lose a few more seconds.
And we know from experience that endurance like this can be decided on a couple of seconds. And timing and being held up by a stricken car or having to go into the blue overtaking lane can cause a loss of a couple of seconds. So every second counts here.
Yeah, Chalmers is making it count as well. They are almost ready to charge again. Last little checks from the officials.
First lap from Stuttgart was already a 74.8, matching the pace from the first driver. Equally X now across the line with the best lap time of the day, 71.2. So they are pushing. We'll have Zurich across the line as well in a 73.8. So they are still looking for their best to match their best lap time, and Stuttgart improving with their best lap time, 73.7.
Yeah, they're very close indeed. 1/10 of a second difference between Renteam and Zurich. But man, what a lap time from Aachen, 71.2. Yeah, that's now it's being confirmed. The fast lap time of the autocross was not an outlier. It was actually the raw pace of this car.
Yeah, what I do see now is that the Aachen car is starting to lift and coast, something I did not see in the previous laps. So maybe they just pushed it to show what it's capable of, and now they go into energy mode.
Yeah, energy mode and saving measures is also something that I heard from the Chalmers team members. They were clearly looking to conserve the car to ensure that they still make it all the way to the finish line. They're back now at the green flag, will be released just behind Aachen, I think.
Yes, a second slower than the previous lap, 72.3, but still faster than the cars behind. So let's see what Green Team, Renteam and Zurich can do. Zurich doing a 72.8 if my eyes are not deceiving me. And also 72.8 from Renteam. Talk about close competition, wow.
Indeed, in the last 2 laps, Stuttgart was only 1/10 quicker in total than Zurich, so they are maintaining the gap to millimeter precision.
Yeah, so we have 3 cars now in the 72-second lap time. Fastest still is Aachen. 72.3.
Zurich will now catch up with Chalmers. They will meet them just a little bit before the blue zone, so they might lose out on just a few seconds. That also means that Stuttgart will get closer again to Zurich, but of course they will also have to get by Chalmers. So curious to see if they will keep Chalmers in the blue zone or not.
No, they will not. I think the gap was also quite big to Renteam, so I think that was a good call. It was a little bit on the edge, but it would have cost Chalmers way too much time to allow two of the cars past.
Yeah, but you can really tell, especially here on the straightaway, right after the start-finish, Chalmers' top speed definitely limited, either by the driver's foot or the in-car systems.
Yeah, but still, Red Team is not on their diffuser yet. Probably they will get a blue flag just after the pendulum section, coming into the infield section again, because then they will be quite a bit closer as well. But that doesn't bother Aachen or Zurich.
Stuttgart now losing out on Zurich. Their last lap time was 2 seconds slower than the previous. And they will lose a bit more time here with Chalmers, although not too much, and will be on their way again.
Yeah, as predicted, they were waved past Chalmers, just transitioning into the infield here.
Yeah, super impressive from Aachen. He's now lifting, coasting, but still doing 72 lap times, so that is extremely impressive driving. From the driver, do we have some info? Yes, we do. This should be Bastian Quicks, and Quicks he is.
Yes, and Stuttgart not pulling any punches at 71.8, even going a little bit faster. So yeah, pretty decent. I would say decent is not the right word. It's fast.
It is fast. We're not quite breaking into that sub 70-second region just yet that we were speculating about, but still.
Yeah, it will be very difficult. I think they are already pushing and pushing harder and harder. It doesn't make a lot of sense. That means you're going to collect cones or risking an off course. It just doesn't make sense. So I think the getting down the average is paramount.
Aachen is getting very close to the average of Zurich, only 0.2 difference in average. Can they close it down by the end of the endurance? That's the question.
71.8 by Aachen, increasing the speed yet again, but Zurich coming over the line as well. Let's say whether they can match the lap time, 72.8. Sorry, 72.0. Averages creep towards each other.
Yeah, you can hear Stuttgart coasting, lifting and coasting very clearly now. The way you can tell on the straightaway is that the motor noise stops increasing at a certain point. It's just the car rolling out towards the next braking zone. That's what we can hear very clearly here just behind the starting line.
There's a yellow flag being waved.
No, it's actually the red and yellow stripes.
Yeah, so that means there's some kind of fluid on the track. So that means it can be a little bit slippery. So they're warning the drivers to mind that section of the track.
That might be the remnants that Prague left out on track for them, a little goodbye present. This must be the drivetrain lubricant.
Yes, so far, let's see what kind of lap times they will do, because this will definitely hinder their lap times a little bit. Yeah, you can see a 73.3 from the Zurich car. Stuttgart doing a 73.5. And now, yeah, Aachen was quite a bit faster than Zurich. So the averages are ever so close to each other now, Lucky.
Yeah, again, the liquid warning flags out for Aachen. I think we'll see them do this for every car until we've managed to cover each oil patch with a little bit of sawdust. With these aero cars, you can see them pull up that dust right up into the air with each passing car.
So for all aero engineers that are interested in seeing how the aero works on the top cars, this is your moment.
Yeah, so 3 laps left to go, but I'm seeing one of the cars going slow.
Team slowly coming across into the infield, but they get going again.
Aachen not bothered. Aachen is doing a 73.9.
They're slowing again though. Renteam now stopping just in wings, briefly coming to a stop. This looks like a sort of motor controller issue that they want to reset by stopping and then getting going again.
Yeah, and now Zurich is getting some time back from Aachen now. 9/10 of a second. So that
I
means,
also hear that there's a meatball now for Stuttgart. I can hear some really weird noises coming from the car. Maybe some, I don't know what that is.
that's a gear. That's one of the gears, Matti. That's one of the gears.
Something's grinding for sure.
Yeah, it almost starts to sound like a combustion car. Wow, that does not sound good. I hope it's their last competition.
Yeah, it really sounds like you stuck a golf ball in a blender, to be honest. From the outside, on the left-hand side, we can't see any damage.
2 laps, what I was saying, this is going to be the last lap sign now for both Aachen and Zurich. So they will finish more or less at the same moment. Aachen now definitely doing a bit of lift and coast.
Aachen is on their last lap, it seems. 75.7. Zurich doing a 72 lap. Are my eyes deceiving?
No, they are still pushing, and I think Aachen is now just slowing down just a little bit to preserve. So looks like they will not be able to match the average lap time of Zurich. They were hunting for it. They were getting close.
This is what we've seen from Zurich, I think, all these years. Somehow they managed to keep pushing during the whole of the endurance, while other cars have to manage their batteries, have to manage their energy, manage their temperatures. Somehow AMZ always manages to keep pushing in during the endurance.
Yeah, and already from the first straight they were doing lift and coast, so they had a very clear strategy in mind and executed it to perfection.
Renteam still being tended to by the officials. They're focusing on the front left wheel. Then again, I've also heard the driver speak of the motor controls potentially causing this weird noise, and it not being a consequence of some misarrangement in their gears themselves.
Will be joined by Aachen, car number 99, coming across the finish line for successful endurance, closely followed by Zurich, car 33, with a super impressive endurance finish. Wow.
That was impressive. What a battle between these two hugely well-performing teams. That was impressive to see, and such an excitement.
Zurich did a 72.0 still in the last lap, so they were pushing all the way. So from what I can see, Zurich is 11 seconds quicker than Aachen overall. Aachen really slowing down a bit on the last 2 laps, the last 3 I would even say, with lap times 3 to 4 seconds slower than what they were doing before.
And again we have a lone warrior out on track. It's a Swedish warrior, the Vikings maybe even. Chalmers is just crossing the line. I think they have 2 more laps to go after this one. Yep, exactly. Very consistent drive, 81, 82, 84 second laps. Average 83.
Good news for Renteam though. They are rejoining the track again. I think they are willing to risk the car in the last 2 laps here just to try and finish this endurance come hell or high water. The officials were not able to determine any unsafe situation, so they left it up to the driver to decide.
All right, guess we'll hear some combustion noises again, kind of. That does not sound very healthy, does it?
Well, sometimes you have to grind, but this I did not imagine.
Yeah, this is going to be a case of making or breaking the entire competition. Of course, the 250 points are looming for Green Team here. If you do not finish the endurance, you have basically no shot of finishing within the top 10 at this competition anymore.
Do you know what was wrong with the car, Jonas? Because they're not going that slow, but an incredible noise, and incredible, I don't mean that in a positive way.
No, there was really nothing that you could see from the outside. They were trying to rock the car backwards and forwards to see if there was any inconsistencies, but at really low speeds, the noise was barely there. It's only really when they're driving.
Yeah, it does feel like the noise is amplified by a kind of echo chamber in the monocoque or something, or some carbon structure.
And indeed, we see the checkered flag for Stuttgart, so it might have been worth it for them to just risk it. Of course, they still have post-scrutineering to contend with. Hopefully, they will make it through and actually make the sacrifice worth it.
Yeah, might be worth it because at the moment they are 4th overall with their time. This again is not counting any cones.
They were a bit quick though. According to our time screen, it wasn't their final lap. So I think they got the black and white checkered flag too early. I think the confusion started because they were with the meatball flag. So they still have one more lap to go.
Yeah, indeed. I think also our system says they would have finished, but indeed it's wrongly triggered by an extra lap here in the pit.
Yeah, they need to finish this lap as well because the meatball flag is not counting. So yeah.
What an exciting finish, though. I think the consensus is now that Renteam is not going to drive again.
Okay, well, a lot of confusion there, but we have Chalmers coming up to the line. On our final straight, in the last chicane and over the line, finishing endurance as well. Congratulations, Chalmers.
Wow, in all the chaos that we had here in the top 5, Chalmers just calmly and consistently finished their endurance. Congratulations to them.
You mean Chalmley?
Yeah, and it looks like we have finished endurance, guys. It looks like all the marshals are packing up already. They're collecting all the cones. That's usually quite a good indication that the event is over. So
this one snuck up on us.
I have to catch my breath a little bit, guys. Wow, what an endurance! What a day!
Yeah, and what a finish. Oh my God, we've had this mechanical drama with Green Team, and we've had lots of failures out there. We've had really tight competition between the last 3 cars that were really pushing for the fastest time overall. I'm really excited to have been here, to have seen this in person. Thank you to everybody who mustered the heat together with us in the grandstands, and to the people at home. Good for you that you were sitting hopefully in an A-seat space.
Yes, and I think this is time for us to say goodbye as well. We had today and the rest of the week, we had Yegor, Jonas, Matthias and myself. Well, thank you everybody. Well, hope to see you next year again. We'll be here or not, Matthias?
I think so, but I really hope it's going to be a little bit cooler because this was scorching hot all weekend long.
Yeah, definitely we will order some better weather because wow, this was insane.
And now I'm looking forward to the award ceremony.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be it for us from FSG 2026, at least from within the Dynamics area. We'll see you in the award ceremony too later on tonight.